in the game, you're going to look like absolute geniuses.
So, let me then explain what's going to happen here. As we have not been pulled off the webcam. I was about to put on some glasses. I guess that joke's out the window. As if I were to just put it simply, Shacal, go camp kill. He then go mid, get killed. He go top, get killed. Go bottom, get killed. Snowball very big. Then presses R, kills some people, and he wins the game. I think it's as simple to say. And as he's about to end the Nexus, he's gonna join the stream before the interview and start singing the Danish national anthem as he, defeats Riddle from their 5-0 undefeated streak.
We are in a timeline, okay? Doctor Strange has visited, and it is one of the timelines. Not very many though. Now this early game, I'm liking this from Riddle already. Level 1, you got a Braum, do something. You got a Graves, do something. They are playing to that quite handily. Now quite handy for Shacal. He's on the top side of the map instead, so he's going to get his blue buff and also gets the spot from Lari. So good stuff on Domino's side that they're going to get away with being invaded on, and also have the information that they've been invaded also. The response from Shacal will be interesting. Is he going to go to the top side and take away the red buff from Johan? Or is that not going to be made an option for him?
And as Domino play this lane very safely, making sure they won't be caught out by anything, Shacal will go in and steal the red buff away. Obviously will be spotted on a ward. Wouldn't expect Riddle not to read this play, but I do have another fun fact from Shacal here while we are seeing him take this blue buff away, or red buff away rather. His original name in the Danish scene, like his in-game name was actually Brandvarm Shacal, which means on fire Shacal. As let's see if there is a nice outplay to be had here from Shaolin as he is getting ganked, running up towards his jungler. Slice and dice, doesn't seem to be needed, and he just waddles away after a couple shotguns to the skin.
Yeah, interesting. I think they could have gone a little bit more aggressively. Obviously, you don't want to overforce your hand. If Yumpun actually also on a wander into this topside jungle, it's going to be like noted. Banderas who's saying, hey, Jax is gone, and they've found Johan. So far for Domino, right, this has been what I wanted. They need to do something early to make some crazy plays happen. They've got a Ziggs in the bot side to stabilize anything that's going to happen in the bot lane. So they're just making these aggressive pushes, get these invades down, steal away some jungle camps, force Johan to be a little further down in CS. The issue, of course, with that theory is they were already down from the offset. Shacal lost his red buff at level 1 and had to spend a lot of time going over to the top side to just get retribution for it.
So, something has definitely happened early on. I still will be in Shacal. Where will he go? Will Johan be able to read him like an open book and counter game? Because Shacal needs to get something rolling, and what lane seems the most reasonable to be getting a kill? Because all of these lanes do seem quite defensive from the side of Riddle.
It's mid lane. We have to go mid. ASAP. Like, as soon as possible. Fire Rain needs to be the focus. We're not likely to kill Cassante. We're not likely to kill Zeri Braum. They're such a defensive duo, and we don't really have the damage between a Ziggs and a Nautilus either. Renekton, on the other hand, he's got damage, he's got CC, it's the perfect duo.
Slice, dice, connect, CC, and the flash to deny the Sonic Wave. That is a 5-minute
cooldown.
Again. Yeah, repeat.
Yeah, we got 5 minutes, everybody. Riddle, set your stopwatches. Fire Rain, sit under your turret. Leech the experience, but you cannot be playing aggressively in this mid lane anymore. I'm really happy with the way Domino have played out these early stages because they needed to opt into something aggressive here. They needed to try and make these plays around mid lane, get Shaolin to be ahead of the curve, and force Fire Rain to be so demonstrably far behind the curve that Swain can never do Swain things in this late game. It's a difficult task to pull off, and it's one that so far they've taken the first step towards, burning the flash of the Swain. Now it's on Shaolin to control his wave in a way that forces the wave past the the halfway point of the laning phase and allows Fire Rain to be overextended and gives Shacal that angle to gank.
So that is what we'll be waiting for. It is so common. Not so common, but it is something that happens every now and then that a jungler ganks a lane, forces summoners, but is unable to get anything from it. And then burning the summoner doesn't really matter, so we need to see him come back mid, get a kill, or Shaolin to be able to make an outplay that punishes the fact that Fire Rain has no flashes. And there is very nicely trades with Fimpin, considering there is a Johan on the way. One level advantage of Fimpin, also does have the flash, so Ward Hops at first sight is able to get out the end of the line, doesn't do that much damage early on, and Domino's response with that getting a Drake.
This is more time that Shaquille's not farming, which is obviously not necessarily the Lee Sin's power point, but it is time that Johan will get to spend clearing away his camps. He was already a little bit further ahead off of first clears, and you know, the gank timing spent in the mid lane. So this Graves is going to be, again, a bit further ahead of the Lee Sin, and it's a big investment in the team for Shaquille right now. You know, getting this Drake early on, starting on the gank's mid lane. Certainly been a couple of ingresses toward the mid lane that haven't reaped any rewards yet, or investments into the team that we need to see if they get profited on.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? We're still just waiting. How will this early game go for Shaquille as well? I'm personally waiting for that level 6 will be a nice spike for him, get the kick, and he can really start to look to do something. But I wholeheartedly agree with, it has to be mid lane, 2.5 minutes now until that flashes up, plus a couple extra seconds to be honest. And he needs to get back there before then and get that kill, get the snowball rolling.
We've seen Snobby have some interesting roams before. This one is just to set up vision around the top side jungle. It provides an element of safety to their top laner, because he's certainly, you know, Fjumpbum with no flash, or not with no flash, but with the gank that we've already seen, has been under a little bit of pressure. I don't think there's any particular pressure to go elsewhere for the Graves. Trying to gank a Renekton if he's got dash is very difficult. A same sort of thing for a Ziggs, it's not too easy. It's honestly not easy for him to gank anywhere, right? I'm acting like Jax is going to be the easiest target to gank. Jax also with flash with Q. Not easy, but that extra element of safety with the top lane brush, it just helps with tracking so much that Johan is, you know, not necessarily completely outstrung of the game, but certainly going to find it a little harder to be productive.
And as Johan takes away that Scott, he has built up a slight lead considering he hasn't spent as much time ganking, being able to steal away a couple of camps as well. That's pretty much what lays in this 200 gold lead, so it's nothing significant. But yet again, another checkup. Shaquille still level 5, Fire Rain, maybe a minute or so away from getting that flash pick up. It needs to be soon he gets that gank off. Shaolin has recalled as well, gotten a serrated Dirk, and his flash is up.
So come late game, right? Again, it's important to set the expectations for these teams, and expectations coming in were that Riddle would be able to quite handily demolish Domino. The compositions, however, aren't allowing for that. Reptile in the late stages of the game is going to be incredibly strong. Right now, however, it's just not the case. In early games, Zeri isn't something that you particularly want to play around. Fortunately for them, nor is an early game Ziggs, and I think that Domino are quite happy to take this handshake of we will see what happens on the top side, and then see which of our two bot laners can be stronger in the later stages of the game. And I've seen some Ziggs do some crazy things. I know you said you're not a particular fan, or not particularly in touch with the North American scene, but I've seen APA, a mid laner for the Team Liquid Challengers, do genuinely 1v9 things with the Ziggs that would scare people. So this champion actually really, really strong in the late game if in the right hands. Laurie, of course, going to have to prove it to me that that is them. Whilst we see Riddle taking the first steps toward pushing themselves to a strong late game phase with putting a bit more gold into somebody with that Rift Herald.
And as Fjumpbum now has to run, because Johan was on his way back top, the flash will come back off cooldown for Fire Rain. That means now Shaquille hasn't been able to build anything though. Able to steal away a blue buff, which is something. But it is worth noting that cooldown back up. Fire Rain able to be a bit more aggressive in the lane. He has played, I think, these 5 minutes very well, making sure whenever the lane was pushed up, he himself was not overextending.
Drake up in 90 seconds, probably not going to be something that we see teams contest for. Maybe another opportunity for a trade to come through, and we'll have to see what item spikes get hit on that window, because I think Reptile only just based. Getting the Immortal Shield Bow on that timing probably not very likely, and is going to dissuade a little bit for Riddle to take that fight. So it's not going to be a case of, oh, one person's got a mythic, one person's not. This has been a fairly slow-paced game overall, right? We see, I think, 2 plates in the top lane, total taken, 1 in this bot side taken, both actually in favour of Domino. But what I want to track quickly is Fire Rain's flash and Fire Rain's level, right? Flash is back up. They weren't able to make the most of it, Domino, and now he's dinged level 6. He's actually level 8 already. So that Demonic Ascension is going to be so powerful to the Swain when it comes to trying to survive a gank, survive a 2 versus 1. He's got plated steel caps as well. There's just no way to kill him.
Snappy could be in a lot of trouble, locked up with the concussive blows. Kick used to buy space for his supporter. Shaquille now the one running. One more auto to be CC'd up, and there it comes. able to safeguard away as Snappy, barely with the Dredge line able to connect to the wall. And he is out, but it is Riddle with control, them pulling the aggressive actions as they continue to just try to annoy Domino a little bit here.
Yeah, Keeper burns double for summoner spells right there. Doesn't quite have the support of the team to make it profitable. They do secure the dragon, you would like to think, though. Johan also has this Rift Herald in his back pocket, so he's kind of, you can tell, just like wants to ward, can't ward. It's that 50-50.
Jumps right over, though. Gets a good trade on Shakale, who's able to jump over the wall. Shakale forced to burn the flash here. As Snappy now jumps over the wall, wants to secure Johan here, locks him up. Some damage to follow up as well, forces the flash, so no one goes down. These games today would have had very slow first blood, game 1 and game 3 at the very least.
Very tentative from both of these teams. Neither one of them particularly like super willing to commit for a risky play. They're all playing very much by the numbers. Okay, this in 100% of situations doesn't work, so I won't do it type thinking. But they get the Herald down in the mid lane here, Riddle. They're going to take this dragon, and I think what I would like to see from Riddle is more of this slow-oriented game. I'm like leaning toward the fact that they're going to have a better composition late game. Like I said in the draft, I think Swain is just so strong versus the topside champs that we've seen from Riddle. And there's a big pressure on Laurie to be that Ziggs hyper carry, or not even a hyper carry, but just control mage in the late game to offset all the issues that the topside has got for Domino when we reach that late game stage.
I think Fiumpun as well has to be mentioned here as someone who will be able to add something to the later stages of the game, but I do completely agree with you overall when you then compare the scaling of both of these comps. While there is some on Domino, there is certainly more on the side of Riddle. And as Shakale continues to do something early on, or no longer early on, I would say 12 minutes in, he's spotted out by the ward, could still go for it. Sonic Wave goes wide though, and Keeper able to stand behind me by jumping over to Johan.
Yeah, Domino are trying really hard to push the pace of this game. Unfortunately, they're only 200 gold ahead. This is not the fast pace that we hope for. Keeper does burn ulti there, and we're you know, seeing these tools constantly burned, but it's never anything enough to generate a meaningful advantage. We are also seeing that Shakale is now, again, starting to fall a little further and further behind level 7 to level 8. The CS deficit as well becoming a little more noticeable. Gore Drinker completed for Johan, so again, up against these triple melee topsides, it's going to have a lot of value if you can get a 3-man Gore Drinker in for a lot of bonus healing. Now we reach the second mythic as well, with Reptile having that. Every fight that they can take, they'll be at like a slight advantage here, Riddle. So I'm hoping that we get to see Riddle slowly but surely figure out that they're actually strong enough in this game to take a fight, and maybe start to get a bit aggressive with it.
Domino just continuing, as you say, to accelerate the pace, taking camps away whenever possible to get something. 200 gold still, but Johan will close that by taking these camps away as yet again another slow methodical game. Can they beat the 16-minute and 50-second first blood? As turret plates will soon fall.
They're both trying.
Yeah, both are. I mean, maybe something could happen here. It could be a 3v3 scenario as both Larry and Reptile could look to make their way up. Fire Rain stepping a bit too far forward. Does have the flash though if he wants to get out. No demonic ascension is popped. And they want to fight this on the backline though. Goes Shaolin. Unable to really kill anyone as a good 3-man kick allows Fiumpun to get in, get the first blood, and look for more. They will find Keeper as well. But it is only 2, but it is something for Domino to snowball a lead from.
And finally we get to see the action, the early game dominance that we needed from Domino. It's a really good start for them. It comes 14 minutes into the game. We'll see whether that's soon enough. But a kill onto Fiumpun and 1 extra going onto Shakal as well is a great opener. And this Jax, again, if I'm talking about late game team fights and saying they're going to be so super winning for Riddle, one of the ways that you win team fights, if you're not, one of the ways that you take this game as Domino is by not team fighting. You send your Jax to the side lane and you have him in the 1v1 versus Banderas. That should be a winning matchup for you. You can already see, right, Fire Rain takes so long for him to die. Unfortunately for Riddle, once he's popped that ulti, a little bit weaker, obviously, and not everybody has Demonic Ascension on their team, so they just focus the people that they can kill and they take him down.
With the second Herald back up, there's certainly more to fight for if they feel like it, and seems like they do, as a lot of people have rotated up, so there's still just the AD carries absent from this exchange. Looks to be though that Domino have enough control over the area to secure this without any contest. Demonic Ascension, end of the line, or collateral damage rather, actually still on the cooldown, so they don't want to flip it as okay, smites it down. Maybe they could go on Banderas, but no, just a little bit of poke there as they don't want to overcommit.
I love that both of these bot laners have just handshook and said, we will not be a part of fights. There was a game, I think just yesterday, where we saw both top laners just end 0-0-0. And we may well end up the same sort of situation for the bot laners. Obviously, Lauri's already contributed a little bit, so they're in for a bit of a slow burner down on that bot side, and I think that's going to play right into Reptile's hands.
Let's see what happens up here, though. Banderas disrupts what Shaquille was going for. Now it just looks kind of awkward as he continues pushing the wave.
The lane gank of all lane ganks. I'm here to tax your camps.
Don't do that to him, man. He tried. As Firing will just be a bit annoying as well. These guys are just prodding at each other, not really committing to anything. Just no, let me stop you, Rico. Let me push your wave. Let me annoy you for a little bit.
This Swain is gonna have like 4,000 HP soon. By the way, I want that to be known.
Run of Age is already built.
Yeah, the Swain passive, if every time you either land a W or click and get a soul out of somebody, you get a bit of max HP. He's already got 30 stacks of that passive proc, so he's in a very good position here, Firing. And this Herald, I think this is we need to use it, let's just stick it down somewhere.
Yeah, let's get that mid lane then and take half of the turret HP away. If you've been locked up here, 17 minutes on the clock, the teams group for the first time, and I want to congratulate Reptile on leveling up and unlocking the rest of the map after he's been stuck bot lane for 17 minutes now. It's around the Drake, and it looks like they might actually want to fight.
But this is where Lauri actually comes into their own a little bit. Has got those bouncing bombs up sort of 3-4 times every 3 or 4 seconds or so, and then has the explosive minefield to cut off an entire choke point. Half of Riddle have navigated their way around it, but the rest of them have to walk through.
Oh, Reptile locked up, but he's away to safety already. Good damage onto Fire Rain, though, who could be exploded. The Demonic Ascension, though, doing quite a lot. And on the other end of the fight, it is Larry so perfectly zoning away Johan and Reptile that just allows Riddle to get destroyed in this fight by Domino, who will pick up 2 kills yet again, and a Drake.
It's the zig zoning. Honestly, you touched on it in the fight right there. Lauri was zoning literally 3 people away from the fight. Firing was 1v4 on one side. Look at this, right? There's 2 people from Riddle are helping out Firing. Doesn't matter. Johan and Reptile, the DPS for Riddle, just aren't there. They're getting zoned out by this Ziggs, and that's all that matters. Lauri wasn't contributing to the fight on the main side, but he was doing enough to prevent any damage from Riddle coming through at all. So really good angle taken by Lauri, and just understanding what they needed to do in that fight was more than enough. Secures them the Drake, secures them the fight as well. And once again, Duckling, it's these teams that are 5-0, struggling in the fundamentals, struggling at getting that early game lead. And right now, we saw Nord be pretty much even for Veneer, and we said that was good for Veneer. Right now, Domino are winning.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely cracks in the Riddle armor, and Nord showing some cracks as well, which is very exciting in terms of the competitiveness of the whole league we have. But that's the question I want to ask you now, because you talked about the fact that Domino are stronger at these early mid-game points. So has this lead they have built up enough? Is it enough?
Depends what they do with it, right? I think this is completely situation. Right now, yes, this is enough. They've got the tools to extend this lead and be stronger than their opponents, because they are right now. They've just sort of always struggled with pushing that further. So we need to see if they can, take this lead that they've got and push that into more. Start playing for picks, start using their vision to really catch somebody out, because they've got, like I say, great pick tools in the Lee Sin, Nautilus, Renekton combo. But they need to start utilising that. They need to start setting up around taking turrets as well. There's a lot of standing gold still on the map, so if they can navigate their way into the enemy's jungle, catch out Firing, catch out Johan, somebody that they can find a kill on, that's the way to go about it. But right now, if they, spend... Yes, they've got the gold lead. If it stays like this for the next 10 minutes, it's not as good, is it?
Yeah, exactly. They do want to extend it. I do agree with that. And let's see what they come up with now. There will obviously be the chance of team fighting on a Baron, which has just spawned in 3 minutes. There's a soul point as well. You can force them into these points where Barry will be able to have a lot of success with his poke. And he has been playing this game phenomenally so far. The CS hasn't quite been to the Reptile level, but in these team fights, he has played a massive role as Riddle. The ones under pressure at the moment, you have to feel somewhat as Domino. I'm really surprised after this up in Chicane.
Oh, they're looking for an engage.
Yeah, Larry, no satchel charge to get out. Flash already used as Fire Rain wants to get this kill. Larry so low, no escape, and he's gone. And that means Domino don't want to fight further. Pings on the Baron already.
Oh, aggressive here from Riddle. The Baron is a bold call. They don't have to deal with the Ziggs poke, so I really like this. Reptile can dish the damage down with this Zeri. Not going to be the fastest one that we've ever seen, but Johan can be there to supplement the damage that they're missing. Curious.
Larry?
Let's see. Yumfun, he's got a good angle here.
Yeah, Larry can TP in though in 10 seconds. The Baron will be gone by then, but a fight might potentially still be underway as the Baron drops ever lower. They turn and go away. They want to focus down Charlotte, but he goes back in, wants to take down Reptile, unable to in the beginning, but the damage is slowly but surely coming through from the side of Domino as they found two on Fjumpunkt, and here comes Larry TPing in to secure the team fight win. A triple kill for Fjumpunkt and another one team fight for Domino.
And Domino are just continuing to demolish Riddle. This is 8-2 kill score. Riddle, they find one pick and way overextend on the play. Johan has got Smite, he's got Flash, he's not done yet, and he's not on Vision.
Oh yeah, I should say no Vision on. He will take down Johan. Everyone jumps over. Larry falls rather. Sorry,
reset.
It's Johan in the end. As you say, Baron resets, but does it matter? That is the question.
Yes.
It does.
Surely it matters.
I mean, Fire can TP and Reptile can run. Yeah, it takes a while to get it back down again. Why did not one person just stay in the pit? Fjumpunkt has no mana. Well, TP in from Fire Rain.
This is so tense. Both teams are trying to throw so bad at this Baron. Please, just leave. Okay. Okay. You know what? We've seen some Barons in the NLC. I think that might go up as one of my favourites, if I put it like that. This is a great re-engage, though. I mean, Riddle, they give the opportunity to Domino, but Domino quite happy to take it as well. It is worth mentioning that they are more than happy to just slam their way into this fight and brute force with the melees, right? It's the only way they can really do it, is just run forward. And it manages to work out. Everybody clumped up in a pit like that, you're going to find successes. So Domino, again, extending that lead, 4,500 gold right now. And would like to see them revert back to some more standard means of collecting leads, not necessarily sacrificing their bot laner so that the enemy team starts Baron and then throws the game even further into their advantage. It's not my typical win condition that I opt into. Nevertheless, it's the one that profited them a little bit of gold right there. We did also get to see that Johan, whilst on this Graves, hasn't been a particularly relevant factor during the early to mid game of this phase, has been very, very strong when we get into those fights. Taking a kill onto Larry in like a 1v4 situation, can never underestimate the power of the Graves, and it's exactly what I was mentioning in the draft, right? That yes, this Lee Sin is going to be very strong in the early game at trying to accelerate how fast they can play for Riddle, or against Riddle. But as soon as that Graves gets an opportunity to sit back and power farm, it's going to be a menace.
And it's very worth highlighting what is happening on your screens, right? At the second, Domino will get a soul point. Very, very nice for them, and the only thing they lose is a slight bit of vision control around the Baron pit. Oh, wow, I'm really, really surprised by today's games. The one I expected to be the closest, Verdant versus Ruddy, was a complete stop, near perfect game. Only one Drake separating Ruddy from a completely perfect game. And the other two games have been surprising. The underdog showing up. This time it just feels like they might go that one step further than Nia in game 2 was unable to, and maybe take the game. But it depends on these up-and-coming team fights and if they can get their hands on this very valuable Baron.
Because outside of that bot lane, Domino still are at a distinct compositional disadvantage. They've still got Renekton, Jax, Lee Sin topside, and Renekton and Lee Sin, two champions notorious for their lack of late game potency. I like that Shaolin's opted into this Prowler's Claw. It makes his one-shot capability actually fairly high. If he finds sort of anywhere near Reptile, he can really one-tap the Zeri, and the sort of quick burst that you get between Prowler's Claw plus Blade of the Rune King is genuinely mortifying if you're an AD carry. So you're looking at Reptile, you're thinking, how am I going to survive that? Answer is, I mean, if two people get on you and one of them's the Renekton, you're probably not. Yeah, exhaust is like a tool, but then you're relying on Kiva. And obviously that's not necessarily the bad thing, but it's not you as the AD carry. You know the second when you need to exhaust. We'll need to see if Kiva's there and ready as well, because I believe in him. It's just whether or not we get to see it.
I'm really starting to hold my breath. The excitement around a potential Baron fight is what can really decide who will take this game. You don't want to be caught out. You don't want to make a big mistake right now. For Domino, this is I wouldn't say they're on the cusp of greatness, because the game is only 4K in their lead, and I should say they are being outscaled slowly but surely. But how this team has stepped up from a horrible week 1 jungle change, looking better despite losing 2 games in week 2, game week 3, throwing a third jungler, and this is working out wonders. He has 100% kill participation. They won their first game just yesterday, and now against the 5-0 team, regardless if they win this game or not, they have showed that they are able to compete, and they are not scared of bringing their game to the best teams in our league.
And this is one of the instances where I'm genuinely looking forward to get to hear from Domino and see what has happened, really. So you know, the interview at the end of the game can't really come soon enough. I'm looking forward to finding out any differences and see if they can give us some insight for that. But for now, they've still got to close out this game, and this is by no means, like we've mentioned, a one game for Domino, but it is a composition and a position rather that they should feel good in. If they continue to play this slowly, though, they may run into some issues. We're now looking at 2 minutes away from the Soul, and that's the window where we anticipate Riddle to fight back. They're not going to give over an Ocean Soul for free. They would genuinely love an Ocean Soul as well. If they can get that on Fire Rain, whoa, they are eating good in the hood in that fight. But they have to get there. They have to get 3 more Drakes for themselves. They have to deny this Soul away from Domino, and this is one of those fights at such a time in the game where if it's compellingly going one way or the other, that then leads to Baron, and Baron leads to, you know, objectives of the enemy team's turrets. You can get those, you start to be able to get the game, and it's all cyclical. This one fight starts to lead on to so much more, and that's kind of why it's important.
And when we're talking upsets, right, I'm looking at the Domino roster, and I'm instantly thinking of Larry, because he was probably one of the biggest upsets we've ever seen in Danish League of Legends history in terms of our own little national scene in the winter split, joining Asperger, a team full of no names no one really knew. And they surprised everyone. They made it all the way to the finals against teams like Astralis Talent, for example, being knocked out earlier in the tournament. And while they did end up losing in the final to the overwhelming favorite, they made it a very, very close series, almost taking 2 games from them, to be completely honest, on a team that everyone expected to finish dead last in their group. So he knows what it's like to be in the underdog role, and he knows how good it can feel, surprising everyone and making it all the way, really.
Setup around this Drake has begun. Domino taking residency in the Riddle bot side jungle, fighting for vision. This control ward in that top, or in that on the top half of your screen right there, fairly telling for what these teams' intentions are. Riddle, they don't really care for the vision around that way. One of the good things about playing through mid lane is that you can always sort of cheat into the river. If you want to hop in through this river, it's much easier to go through mid lane in an instant. But Domino, they're posturing. They want this fight, it looks like, before the Drake spawns.
Shaolin already forced to flash away a big cooldown burst for someone, or burn rather, for someone who might want to try and get in on the top side. Be aware, Banderas is fighting Fjumpunkt over in the blue side jungle, so something is happening there. Remember, in the last fight, Fjumpunkt was the guy who got the triple kill, so we need him to do damage to other people than just the tank, but he's winning out. He's built anti-tank, so he's destroying Banderas. Has already popped the ultimate though, and Fire Rain in the pit does have the flash available if he wants to get out. Level 16, Demonic Ascension is available. Snappy, concussive flows, locked up, but he goes on to Kiba. Let's see if they can get on Trapdown. They need to kill him, and they do. They knock him back in as he flashes around. Larry will take him down. Fire Rain in the front end though, healing up, and as Banderas goes all out, he will find 2. Fight not over as Larry tries as he might, but he can't burn through the health bars. He can't take down Fire Rain, who goes golden as Banderas seals the deal with a triple kill. And it is a 1 fight for Riddle, but it is not a 1 game yet.
Wow, it's so close. Domino, they start the fight off so well. They kill the AD carry. How can this possibly go wrong for them? And then we remember the R5 Swain, the raid boss in the mid lane, is so tanky. Everybody has to get right in the range of the Demonic Ascension in order to take down the Swain, and they just don't have the firepower. Snarby goes down, Reptile goes down, and this at the minute is a 5v3. You're thinking, this is so winning. But Fire Rain just refuses to die. Plus 200 health every time he Qs. And it's honestly so close that he does, or so close that he falls here. If he flashes over a second earlier and continues with his ultimate, because that's, you know, theoretically an infinite duration if you're still ulting somebody. The fact that he's there a little bit too late means that his ult dies down and means that Lari can find the final bouncing bomb out of stasis. But it is such a finite margin, and one that, again, we can kind of expect to see continue because he's used that stopwatch once. He's going to go back to base and finish off the Zhonya's. Then you've got it every 2 minutes. And that's about the duration that we wait for these fights.
I don't want to seriously just starting this up. I'm wondering if my eyes are deceiving me enough. Maybe just a bait, of course, as they have now been spotted out. Can easily back off, but maybe this is just a bold call. We're running out of time. We need to go for something. 7k. Johan in the area. Everyone is up there except for the top laners. And it means this also has to be a fight on the back of Larry. There's no late game jacks in this being able to help you out. So
they need to
still
TP.
keeping it on the Baron.
They have TP advantage. This is 5v4 right now. Fjumpbun's there.
Oh yeah, and they're going for the fight. Reptile jumps over the wall. Johan the one they want to target, but in the backline is the raid boss. And Shakalem Snappy definitely can't deal with him. As Fjumpbun now in a lot of trouble as he's being run down by the lightning crush of Reptile. Here comes Banderas as well. And this looks like it's gonna get bad and worse for the side of Domino as they're forced to flee. Because Banderas yet again goes all out with the help of his teammates. Will secure 2 kills. 3 will soon come as Fjumpbun now in trouble as well. Reptile dashes forward, good damage back though, but it won't be good enough. Stunned up with the concussive blows and a solo bolo from Banderas onto the side of Larry. Now Shakale 1v5 finds Reptile, but he won't find his way out of this sticky situation. He's gonna run for a bit, he's gonna ward hop. But as the eyes of the kingdom will find him. Yeah, they need to kill him, they don't want to flip it, and they will in the end, but it will take quite a while. As the Baron can now get started up, and I want to raise a point. Shouting this up in 10. Maybe he can buy time.
He has TP. I don't know that it's likely. Lari also has TP. I think he's the real threat that you're looking for. 15 seconds on the Ziggs. If anything, Shaolin's going to TP to die to buy more time and then allow Lari to TP, but it looks like the Baron's just going to go down. I cannot believe that Riddle get away with this. They are so good at disengaging, and honestly, there were a lot of really good parts about this fight. This is the aftermath when Banderas is already there, but the important part of this fight happens long before. It's when it's that 4v5 and how well Riddle disengaged. Reptile hops over the wall and Immunes all sort of engages onto him, and then they allow the time for Banderas to get there. And I think, Duckling, that with that fight, the door to the win for this game for Domino may have just closed.
I think it's fair to say that it's only going to get harder from here. We saw how hard it was for them in that fight previously. They need more anti-heal, they need something, but they only have that slight little executionist calling on Shaolin. Still ahead in kills, but now behind in gold as well, unable to secure the soul 3 minutes ago. They will have another attempt in 2 minutes, but is it too little, too late? We'll find out when that Drake arrives.
Yeah, I mean, spoiler alert, Renekton not the best applier of Grievous Wounds, right? It means he has to be focusing Fire Rain if he wants to apply that Grievous Wounds to the Swain who's mega healing, but equally I can understand that if he gets on top of Reptile, he also wants to make sure that that Immortal Shield Bow isn't working over time. There's also a Radiant Virtue for Kiba as well, so there's all these extra little bits that you want to be ticking down. Genuinely, a Morellonomicon for Lari here would actually go huge, because you're the one who's applying that to everybody in essence, so you can do so much AoE damage. But Riddle, they've got this Baron.
Oh,
They're looking for more.
Oh, I mean, he wants Johan, but he's very, very far forward. He's stunned up, all out it away from the side of Banderas, while it looks like Riddle actually now the one who decided that this fight should continue. Domino able to disengage.
Yeah, and they just take that fight 3v4. Banderas, Johan, they are strong enough apparently with the support of Kiba to take on as many members they see fit.
Fjumpbun tries to find a flank onto the 2 main carries, should I say, and he just gets critted down 3 items on Reptile. Is not fun to play against. As, yeah, I think the door has been slammed shut in their face. Prey still needs to go to Domino. They've played pretty well this game, and all things considered, they tried their hardest. It's that one Baron play where Johan was able to take down Larry that really changed the picture. Regardless, Riddle, they have shown their resilience this game. They've shown that they're able to buy the time necessary to scale into a game, and they will be able to secure that 6-0 very shortly.
First inhibitor falls in the mid lane, second one going to fall in the bot lane as well. Reptile already working on that top side also. Not going to overextend too much. I like that we're just recognizing what our play on the map is, and with 2 inhibs down, I've said this before, I'll say it again, the game becomes incredibly easy to play out. We head up to the top lane, let super minions in mid and bot do the work that we need them to, and in the meantime, we can just take this Drake if we want. Looks like they're trying to play for another kill. Not going to quite find Shaquille, as he's, you know, wisely enough, checking these brushes before he walks into them.
Let's see if he can find this. I don't think it's going to change the game in any way, but they for sure are not taking any chances with Fire Rain being there, making sure you can't even get anywhere near the pit. But even in Sonic Wave,
I would have liked to see him flip that.
Yeah, I would have.
You're never winning the game. You're never winning the game right now. Like at the minute, like the chances of them winning are 1-2% at best, honestly. And that comes off of the fact that Lari finds the God fight with everybody else knocking up into God engage mode. You get an Ocean Soul, that fight becomes, let's say, 5-10% more easier for you. So, and if we see the Lee Sin die there, he's just off the board while Riddle are resetting, and then you lose a bit of topside. It's not the end of the world, like you said. It probably doesn't change the outcome of this game all that much. It's just a personal preference.
You would have liked to see some more courage on Shaquille, is what I'm hearing there actually. As this game is rough. It's only a 5,000 goalie, but you can clearly feel the scaling playing a part, because a 5,000 goalie should never feel this dominant, right?
The whole game we've been talking about the compositional differences, and if we get to this late game, Riddle are going to destroy them. And a 5k gold lead with these two compositions feels how it's playing out right now. It feels unplayable for Domino, because they've got 2 champions in the Renekton and the Lee Sin that just aren't functioning really at anywhere near the capacity that their counterparts are. Graves is a really strong primary carry threat. Lee Sin is a kickbot. Fire Rain is an immovable object in the middle of a team fight. Shaolin is a stun bot on a health bar, right? These are just completely incomparable situations for these 2 champs, and 2 roles even in this game.
As we are getting ever so slightly closer to the 40-minute mark, there will be a Baron up in 1 minute if, you know, maybe you want to try and flip that. If you are Domino, I'm grasping at straws here, to be completely honest, because we've talked the point today pretty much. Domino have been outscaled, so a flip, a miracle, or something like that would be what gets them back into the game as Riddle. I just think in cruise control right now.
Have you ever had cruise control in a car, Duckling?
I
know we're both babies, but...
No. I mean, I do have my driver's license. I got it a couple of years ago, actually, now. And I do have cruise control in one of the cars that I drive.
Oh, one of the cars that you drive?
You know, I live with my mom and dad. We have 2 cars.
Okay.
And the Tesla has a cruise control, but the other one does not.
You're just dropping the flexes right now.
No, man, you asked this.
And then the Lamborghini also has the Lamborghini's also got cruise control. Actually, the helicopter that my dad takes to work every day. My pilot is effectively a cruise control, if you count that as well. Yeah.
Stop that road. You know, every day I take the bike to school. You know, I bike to school, and my bike is clearly falling apart. The gears don't work half the time. The back end is wobbly. Not as wobbly as Riddle's performing this game, though, as said. Banderas, I think you can honestly 1v3 this, to be completely honest with you. Here comes the raid boss as well. Welcome to World of Warcraft. Can you defeat the boss? I said, the demonic ascension has been popped, and apparently they can actually defeat the boss. Hold on just a second.
Yes, Zonius.
Yeah, never mind. No, he's back up to full level. I'm just gonna stop it, because the raid boss cannot be killed. Can he be killed? I honestly don't know at this point. But regardless, really got the Baron in the meantime.
I mean, Fiumbun spent all of his mana trying to get through Fire Rain, and Fire Rain ended that at 70-80% HP. So it's not looking optimal. And in case any of you missed it, it's worth mentioning that the Baron did go down in the midst of all of that. Riddle, weren't contested in any capacity. This was a 1-for-1 in the end. 1-for-0. 1-for-1. Okay.
Get some anti-heal, guys. Come on. We're 40 minutes
They've got
into the game.
anti-heal.
Yes, they have an Executioners. But it's not executing anyone at this point of the game. That's all I'm saying. Where is that Morelos Nomicon? Where, something like that, right? It's... I want to make some clever joke here, but I'm just not clever enough to make it.
There's no joke. It's just that they needed a Morelos. And unfortunately, they needed a Morelos. The only person that would get Morelos is their only source of damage. So they don't want to go for Morelos. It's this catch-22 where... I mean, Lari's build isn't bad. Like, he's inclined to build like this because he's the only real DPS source on the team outside of Yumpbun. So you don't want to go for that utility-esque magic item, because it does hamper the amount of damage that you do to the people that don't have the insane amount of healing. But it's that flip that you make, that choice that's been made, and Larry opting into, like I say, very heavy DPS build as opposed to one that would give a little bit more staying power.
Yeah, and as Shaquille tries to find the flank, he will be caught out by Johan and almost just one shot, as Snebby does get one shot on the other side of that. Still no anti-heal, by the way. Fire in full HP. Let that demonic ascension run out, and then maybe you have a chance. Or I take that back, as one of your main damage sources is now running the wrong way towards its own nexus, as Reptile will jump over the wall. Let's see what Fiumpan can do here. I mean, obviously he's... they're not going to be able to do anything. Shaolin slice and dice. He's the one being sliced up as... Now, is it an alligator or a crocodile? Crocodile, right?
Sure.
No, because
Crocodile.
I know there is an answer. I just can't remember.
I don't know.
I do know Shaquille is dead though. Oh, get the kick. Maybe take the Q. Nah, he didn't go for it as...
They retake these inhibitors. I mean, this is now just a slow closeout. With the Baron at their backs, Riddle can do as they please, and it looks like they please to end the game.
No, don't worry. Larry will do something here, right? As he tries to clear the wave, but he also needs to clear 5 opponents. I mean, he can't do that against the raid boss. Gets pulled out of the fountain, doesn't matter. Fire range the raid boss, and with that, Riddle